Circuito de Jerez, Angel Nieto brings us to the south of Spain and the Andalucía region for this iconic circuit that was built in 1986. Host to MotoGP and also Formula One back in the day, but today it's the host of JuniorGP. 4.4 kilometers, 13 turns, 8 right-handers, 3 left, a width of 11 meters across as well. Makes up what is an incredible circuit with lots of action throughout. The hotspots for overtaking are turn 1, turn 6, turn 9, and of course, as we've seen plenty of times today, turn 13. Lorenzo Corner, 16 laps make up this stock European Championship, the final race of 6 today. I'm Liam Hodgins, and alongside me to bring you all the action, as has been throughout the entire day, has been Jack Gorst. And Jack, well, I hope you've come down after that European Talent Cup race. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you go back and watch all of the action. It has been a day's action that has to be seen to be believed.
Yeah.
And, well, we round it off with the Stock European Championship, and, well, 2 riders that could be given as a cracker of a battle here today are Dani Munoz and Eric Fernandez.
Yeah, definitely. Eric Fernandez has been very, very fast this year, but just a couple of little unfortunate things. I mean, he had a good result last time out. It wasn't so bad, certainly in 2nd place. And then, unfortunately, first race of the year in Estoril crashed out the lead. So he's definitely got the potential to go and mix it with Dani Munoz, who's won both races so far this year. And we know that Dani Munoz is a good rider. He's come from the JuniorGP Championship to now step it up onto the bigger bikes. And this is exactly what happened last time out in Valencia.
Smiles all round for Stock European Championship. Dani Munoz was hoping to convert pole position into 2nd race win of the season, but it was a number 90 win, a floor-off that went down in the early laps, and his teammate eventually followed him with some smoke coming out of the back of the bike. A clean-up job was needed, so the race was red flagged. And I've got to say in that, Eric Fernandez did crash in the start, so he was lucky to make the restart for part number 2. Fernandez on the number 4 machine chased down Dani Munoz all the way throughout the entire race. Had a little bit looking to turn at number 1 early on in the race, but couldn't really lay a glove on the number 17 rider. Further back, you had the number 13 of Riozzo and also Archie McDonald battling it out for a 3rd place, a final spot on the podium, with Riozzo finally holding off and picking up his 1st podium of the year. But no one could stop Dani Munoz. The number 17 championship leader took another victory in 2023. Eric Fernandez this time on the podium alongside him, and those two will be hoping to convert that into a proper battle here today. So, 32 degrees air temperature, 43 track, and 4 miles an hour wind direction. It's been a great day of action. Thankfully, the clouds that we see in the sky at the moment, as you said, Jack, a few moments ago, there's a little bit of grey clouds coming over, so hopefully they stay away for what has been a perfect day's racing action in one of the most picturesque regions in Spain, or anywhere in the world for that matter. Great little place is Jerez de la Frontera. Stock European Championship rounds out today's racing action. Will be starting in 11.5 minutes. And Jack, it's going to be hard to look past Dani Munoz, who has not only been on form so far throughout 2023, but when the Stock European Championship raced with Moto2 last year, he competed in 5 of the last. Yeah. He competed in the last 5 races and won 4 of them. So this is what happened in qualifying with Dani Munoz on pole.
Muy contento con la segunda pole de la temporada. Agradecer al equipo que ha hecho un gran trabajo este fin de semana en la puesta a punto de la moto. Y bueno, muy contento ya que hemos tenido también un buen ritmo en el segundo crono. El primero ha sido más buscando el time attack. En el segundo hemos buscado un poquito más de ritmo, aunque aún así hemos podido mejorar un poco el tiempo. Así que muy contento con las sensaciones y mañana en carrera habrá que apretar. Solo tenemos una carrera, así que hay que intentar conseguir los máximos puntos posibles, pelear con Eric a ver cómo se da la carrera. Así que nada, será mañana una bonita lucha y nada, desearle suerte también a él y mañana más en carrera.
Dani Munoz, qualifying pole time, 1:44.159 for the Spaniard. Doing absolute business so far here in the Stock European Championship. And Jack, we were out on track yesterday watching the Stock European Championship riders ride around, and must admit, Dani Munoz looked absolutely stunning out there.
He did look really good, yeah, just seemed smooth but aggressive, and just everything you want to see from a rider that is riding with confidence and riding really well. That's exactly what he looks like at the minute, doing a really good job of it. So yeah, it's definitely hard to look past Danny for this race here. Obviously, he's won the 2 races that the Stock European Championship have had so far, but you can see that black and yellow bike next to him, number 4, Eric Fernandez. Certainly going to give him a fair challenge. Of course, he crashed out the very first race of the year from the lead, so we do know that he's got the potential to be able to be ahead of Danny. It's just throughout the race whether he can sustain that and finish in front of him.
A good talent is Fernandez, but we did see him not just crash out of the race in Estoril, but also the first part of the race in Valencia, and he's a little bit prone to a crash because we did see him, as we were watching from Lorenzo Corner yesterday in qualifying, in the last couple of minutes he did tuck the front and go down the road, so he was on for a good lap, was Fernandez, possibly not beating Munoz, but very, very well in touch with your championship leader.
Marco Garcia then, obviously this is his first year in stock and doing a pretty good job of it. As you see there, he picked up 2nd place in the very first race of the season in Estoril. It's only 16, like same as Eric Fernandez, 16-year-old. And we've seen other guys that have come through the stock championship. I mean, Firmin Aldeguer was 16 when he was in this stock championship, and of course he went on to win that. I think actually he might have even been 15 back then. But regardless, anyway, there are some extremely talented young kids here. It's just 16. They have a lot of time to be able to grow and go on to Moto2 European Championship, and after that, the Moto2 World Championship.
Dino Iozzo, the Italian rider, picked up his first podium of the year in Valencia. And well, Dino Iozzo, I feel like he's been around forever as the young Italian. He's been racing in Moto2, he's been racing everywhere you can think of. But Dino Iozzo, he is one of the riders that everyone is chasing after because he's been racing stock 600s for a number of years as well. There's a flag that my girlfriend back home will be watching and really enjoying, the Mexican flag, waving for the rider down in, well, 10th in the championship and also 10th on the grid. That is Moreno, the Mexican Guillermo Moreno, who picked up a best result of 9th in Estoril. And he was a little bit further down the grid. But Moreno is really coming on strong this year, and he'll be hoping to do, well, all of the Mexican contingent in the championship very well indeed. 6th in the grid, or 5th in the grid, we got a little bit of ahead of ourselves, or maybe it was myself there, but Mayer on the number 82 machine, the Yamaha GV Stratos bike, he's been starting to come on form a lot in recent weeks as well. One podium in the 2022 Spanish Superbike 600 class, so he's made his way over here as we've got smiles from Alex Millan, who has picked up 1 podium already this year, 3rd in the championship on 26 points. His first podium came back in Estoril as well, so he was a little bit adrift from Danny Munoz, but he was in that battle for 2nd, and Alex Millan has been showing incredibly well so far in 2023.
Yeah, of course, has a little bit of World Championship experience in World Supersport 300s as well, and I think his best race in that championship was actually his last race in Portugal, and I believe he finished 4th in that, so certainly one rider that's shown some real good signs of progression over the last couple of seasons in whatever he's competed in.
He has indeed, and Adrian Rodriguez, another rider, only 16 years of age. Look at that, 2 fifth places in a row, 5th in the championship on 22 points. He's a rider that's showing incredible consistency as Corey Tinker sprinting down pit lane.
Yeah,
the hair's on full force there.
Yeah, you cannot, like, I mean, he's so recognisable, isn't he, with the massive hair flailing behind him, Corey Tinker. Yeah, if you'll be able to notice him out on track pretty easily, not because of the number or the bike or the riding style, but just because of the hair flying out the back of the helmet.
It is an incredible head of hair that Corey Tinker does have. I must admit, I'm a little bit jealous, and so is someone I was sharing the commentary box with in Estoril, Chris Jordan. He absolutely loves the hair as well. So yeah, Corey, if you're listening to this at any point, make sure you just stay away from Chris. He might be trying to shave your hair off and keep it for himself at some stage. Further down the grid is Archie McDonald, the young Australian rider who was just missed out on a podium spot in Valencia. 4th place for Archie McDonald. He'll be hoping to go at least one better here today, but from 8th in the grid, he's got a tall order to go.
He does. Seems like a very talented young rider, does Archie McDonald. He's a 5-time Aussie flat track champion, so certainly knows his way around how to slide a bike and bike control and all that sort of stuff. And this is another one that is a very talented rider, lots of natural talent. Corey Tinker, you can see there he's had solid results so far. Once again here, solid qualifying, 9th on the grid on that 3rd row. Certainly puts himself in a great position to be well in the mix for his personal best result of the season.
He does indeed. Some of the best hairstyle in all of racing, we have to say, Corey Tinker, and he really started to show how good he is. He's racing in a few things this year as young Corey. He's racing in a few stock championships in Portugal and Spain as well, and really coming on strong with a lot of talent to be shown for that as well. Hosjevic, the young Romanian rider, and 10th on the grid. He's another rider that we've got to keep an eye out on. He missed, I believe, yes, he missed Estoril with an injury he suffered in a Q1 crash. I remember seeing him out the back of the garage looking a little bit shaken, so he had to miss the race later on that weekend as well. But he had a best result of 5th last year in Portimao, so Hosjevic going from 10th in the grid, really starting to find his form on the number 6 MMG Pinamoto RS Racing squad.
Guillermo Marcel Moreno here, the Mexican there that your girlfriend at home will be cheering on.
I wonder if she knows him, that's why we're getting a lot of camera time for the Mexican flag. So Marina, she'll be watching back home and really enjoying seeing the Mexican flag on screen, and that'll be for Walt Moreno, who's starting back in 11th spot on the number 10 machine as well. So yeah, lots of people that are showing a lot of interest for many nations here in the Stock European Championship.
There's definitely some good representation here on the stock grid. We've got riders obviously from Spain, also UK, Romania. We've got a rider, a couple of Australians, Argentinians. There's a couple of Portuguese riders, even Colombian, and from Poland as well. So there's some really good representation here in the Stock 600 class. And I think it's really nice to see Stock 600 this year get its own platform. In case you didn't know, this is the first season where Stock 600 is ran as a separate class. Previously, it was ran as a class within a class in the Moto2 European Championship, but of course, Stock European Championship now this year is its own thing. And it's just nice to see them get a little bit more track time and also a bit more TV time. So here's the grid then. Munoz from Fernandez and Garcia. Those three are going to be the 3 stars. You can guarantee that in this race. From Miozzo, Mayor, Mian, then Rodriguez, McDonald, and Tinker. Watch out for the Aussie and the Brit because they could be coming through a little bit. Hosjevic, then Moreno and Brown. Brown actually has a long lap penalty, I do believe, in this one for a little incident he had in qualifying. Then Rivera, Roca, Ribeiro, Nestola, Hulovic, and I couldn't quite catch who that was at the back. Let me just check my notes. It was Jack Bednarek as well. And then completing the grid, we have Del Olmo and Arietta.
Yeah, bumped into Carter Brown and his dad on the way back. Oh, we've got a problem there from, that was a rider that was on the outside, that was Garcia. Looked like he might have had a problem, but thankfully he did eventually get away. But yes, I bumped into Carter Brown and his dad on the way back from the toilet earlier on today. I know how dare I get out of the commentary box, but they said that they have a plan. Whatever that plan could be, I'm not too sure, but they have a plan for this race. So it'll be interesting to see what that plan of action will be ahead of the 16 laps here in the Stock European Championship. There's a lot of riders that are going very slow and looking backwards. I'm not sure what's going on, or I don't think there's any problems for anyone. However, Garcia on the number 8 machine, he's been going really slow and looking behind him, so I'm not sure if there's any big problems there. Let's hope not. We don't want to see any start line incidents for anyone here. It's been a day of action, a day of clean action here in the Finetwork FIM JuniorGP World Championship. No incidents at all, so fingers crossed we have a clean final race of the day. As you can see, 31 degrees, air temperature's gone down a degree, so it's actually feeling a little bit chilly now, I must admit. 45 degree track temperature now. 4 mile an hour wind out there on circuit for the final race of 6 here. It's 4 o'clock local time, 3 o'clock back in the UK. He'll be cheering on all the Brits, Corey Tinker, Carter Brown, Bednarek as well, to name just a few of them as well.
Yeah, I'm sure if you're British and watch along to this, you're also keeping your eyes peeled on what's happening over the Isle of Man TT. The first Superbike race is coming up very shortly indeed. Michael Dunlop won the first Supersport race, well, the first race of the race week yesterday in pretty good fashion. So Mickey D is going to be right up there, along with Peter Hickman and Dean Harrison. But anyway, enough of that. We're here to talk about the Stock European Championship, but this should be a little bit of a corker between Munoz and Fernandez. They've seemed relatively evenly matched. I think Munoz has maybe got a little bit more in his pocket. But yeah, we'll see. If Fernandez gets to start and can get in front of him, disrupt the rhythm, you never know.
5 wins from his last 7 races in the Stock European Championship for Danny Munoz. Just let that sink in for a moment. And he's on course for another one. He'll be hoping to do that in the easiest way possible. But for all the neutralists out there, ourselves included, we want a fight, so we're hoping that Eric Fernandez, who's realistically the only one that can really chase after Munoz, can go with him and give him a fight at the front. Garcia does roll up to his third spot, so whatever happened right at the start of the warm-up lap, he seems to be all okay for now. There he is, Eric Fernandez crashed out of the lead in Estoril, crashed out of part 1 in Valencia, but managed to convert that into a second when the race was restarted. So here we go, final race of the day here in Jerez. It's a stock European Championship. Revs are rising, red lights are out. Great start there for Munoz. Big wheelie there for Munoz as well. Fernandez darts in behind him. Garcia off the line as well, so those problems from the warm-up lap. Iozzo into fourth, runs a little bit wide, it does Garcia, so Iozzo is going to slot right into third spot there. But as you were, and as we expected, it is Munoz who leads away from Fernandez, and a bumping and bowing a little bit further back there, and into third spot. That may have been the number 82, potentially. No, number 8 of Garcia. He's found his form again, so after running wide at turn number 1, he is back into third spot. But look at the gap the top two have already. We expected this. It's already 2/10 on our time screens. It's a lot bigger than that. From them back to Garcia, Rodriguez, and Iozzo, third, fourth, and fifth. But as they power down the back straight, it's Munoz that leads the way.
Yeah, they're already gone, aren't they? Munoz and Fernandez. They've checked out in these opening 2 sectors already, by the looks of it. The other one that made a good start was Archie McDonald. He's up to 6th already. There's a little bit of movement by. Oh, someone's gone very, very wide.
Was that well out wide?
I think, yeah, it was the number 8 of Garcia, wasn't it? So he's relinquished that 3rd position and may have even lost out for 4th to Iozzo. Yeah, he did. So Garcia then, he shot himself in the foot halfway around this first lap. As look at these two looking over at each other.
After you, sunshine. Danny Munoz is like, he doesn't want to lead this one, he wants to follow, and Fernandez is like, okay, cool, whatever, I'll take it for now, and then you can have it back a little bit later on. So already mind games between the top 2 here in Jerez. We've seen this a few times back in the MotoGP days. The one that comes to my mind anyway is Rossi versus Barros in Valencia 2002, when they were actually letting each other pass and waving at each other. So we might get the same here in stock European Championship as well. It's already the end of lap 1. Fernandez leads, Munoz is second, and almost a bit of contact a little bit further back. But clicking off lap number 1, Fernandez leads away ahead of Munoz. There was Munoz before he let him pass, and Rodriguez, Iozzo, and Garcia 3rd, 4th, and 5th. A little bit of a gap back to McDonald. So McDonald on the MRE talent machine. He's just ahead of Corey Tinker. Corey Tinker from 9th on the grid. He's had a super start. He's in 7th.
Yep. Yeah, those two definitely made up a little bit of good ground. It's just flashed up on our timing screen about Carter Brown, number 74, that he has to do his double long lap penalty for a little collision he had in qualifying yesterday. So that's going to obviously, inhibit his race a little bit, but it seems as though Carter Brown's actually got some good pace. So hopefully he can be able to come back through after taking those 2 long lap penalties. So it's going to be interesting then to see what Fernandez can do with it. Big look over.
There we go again. These two are really having a good bet. Oh, he's looked to the wrong side of him. There he is. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what the tactic is with that. I never understood that whole thing of kind of looking behind and seeing where they are, and maybe, I don't know if he let him pass there or he just kind of got caught up in his own thing of what he was doing and gave away the lead. I was about to say that he's in a really good position because he could kind of control and block Munoz, but he can't now. He's got to attack him, and the trouble is with attacking them, you've got to be quick enough to stay with them. So we're going to see if he is quick enough to stay with Danny Munoz on whether Fernandez just gifted him the win.
Maybe it has done. All this playing around though is really let Rodriguez, Iozzo, and Garcia stay with the top 2. I say stay with the top 2. They're 1 second back, but in terms of what we've seen so far here in the Stock European Championship, that's a very, very small gap between the top 2 and the rest of the field. A little bit further back, we've got Mario Mayor in 8th ahead of Alex Millano. We've got a move here from Tinker up the inside of Archie McDonald. These two were having a bit of a ding-dong battle back in Estoril, the first round of the year, in the battle for 4th. I think it was Archie McDonald that came out on top, eventually finishing 5th, and Corey Tinker finishing in 7th. But he's having a look up the inside. That glorious golden hair flowing in the wind as they enter turn number 1. We've got a move from Garcia up the inside of Iozzo. A bit of a bobble on the brakes there on the front end from Garcia, but he retakes 4th spot from Dino Iozzo. So far Iozzo won't be converting that podium from Valencia into a podium here today.
Yeah, it'll be Rodriguez that's pretty happy at the minute. He's had 2 5th places so far in the 2023 Stock European Championship. So 3rd place, well, that's good progress. And he'll be very happy indeed. That's the number 86. I think that's Nestola, isn't it? Yeah, it's just popped up on your screen there. So that's a shame then. Fernandez's teammate looks like he's got a technical issue there as he's ground to a hole.
Well, I mean, that's unfortunate there from Nestola, because that means his, a bit of a moment there from Dani Munoz, but his run of 8 point-scoring finishes comes to an end in the Stock European Championship, stretching all the way back to, funnily enough, here at Jerez 1 year ago. So it's a big moment for him, unfortunately. So it started here and it ends here, all in a one or so.
Well, at least it's ending because of it looked like a technical issue rather than something, if you know, say he crashed it or something like that. So certainly not his fault there. So still doing a good job on his part. Just unlucky there sometimes. Technical issues, they do happen. Now we are looking at the battle for 4th between Iozzo and Garcia. I think these two are going to be going at it all race long, but they do need to be careful because Archie McDonald, the Australian, is closing in behind, and we know that Corey Tinker was right on his heels. Actually, Corey Tinker looks like he's been picked off by, that was Mayor and Mian, I do believe. So Corey Tinker's got a little bit of work to do now. He's been pushed back to 9th place, but certainly the number 69 of Archie McDonald looking like he wants to come and join this fight for 4th place.
Fastest lap of the race, that lap was Fernandez in 2nd spot, just a 10th, well, not a 10th of a second. A moment there from, that looked like Garcia lost the front potentially coming out of the corner. Just as I saw at the corner, he's having a massive moment on the front end as Garcia thankfully managed to keep it all collected. But back at the front, last lap, there we go. Fernandez, 300ths of a second quicker than your race leader, Dani Munoz. So thankfully, it does look like Fernandez can go with Dani Munoz. It's these two that are the absolute class above the field, and we've got a crash.
Rodriguez has gone. Your 3rd place man has gone. He was looking for his first podium of the season. He looks like he's crashed out. There he is. Such a shame for Adrian Rodriguez, the number 44. So he has gone on the Easy Race Team machine, but he has rejoined. So we'll see what he can do. There are 19 runners left out there on track, including Rodriguez himself. So possibly if there's a couple more crashes or if he can just catch up, maybe a couple of points are on offer.
Yeah, he's 19th spot at the moment as Rodriguez. He's 14 seconds off the back of Del Olmo. So yeah, he's got a bit of a way to go to try and get to the back of, well, the points-paying positions. 19 seconds off the back of Ribeiro, who's the last of the points-paying positions at the moment. Carter Brown, though, he's still to do his double long lap penalty, so we'll keep an eye on that as to when and if he comes in. He says he's got a plan. I hope that not serving the double long lap penalty is the plan, so it'd be a bit of a shame if he tries that.
Not quite sure he can do that.
No, I don't think that works.
It looks like Fernandez here he's really got his hooks in, hasn't he? He's certainly not letting go of Munoz here. I tell you what, Munoz was pretty impressive through the 3rd sector of that last lap, but Fernandez looked like he was much better in the final sector. We saw him through those 2 fast rights. He seemed to close up a little bit. Here's Iozzo, who's inherited the final place on the podium. If he does do that, it'll be 2 podiums in a row and he'll be well happy.
Well, there was me 2 laps ago saying it doesn't look like Iozzo. We've got someone's gone down. Who's that? That's the number 23 of Mian. He's gone down. We just heard the scrapes along the tarmac. So Mian, he's decked it in turn number 2, trying to get that bike started again. Buried in the gravel trap. They're very deep gravel out there at turn number 2. So thankfully, he seems to be okay trying to swing his leg over the bike. I shouldn't be laughing at that. I would struggle to swing my leg over that thing as well if it's buried deep in the gravel trap. But back at the front, it's Munoz that still leads it. And it's Fernandez who just set up the fastest 1st sector. I mean, there's nothing in it anyway, so we can't really look too much into that. But Fernandez is keeping him company right now as Fernandez on Munoz. And I was about to say, Dino Iozzo, a couple of laps ago, I just said it doesn't look like he's going to be repeating that podium, and all of a sudden, you had Rodriguez crash it, and then Garcia have a moment at turn number 1, so it gave Iozzo the perfect way through into the podium spot. So, yeah,
sorry, Liam, just to cut you off. As you can see, it popped up on screen the gap between 2nd and 3rd. Just wanted to kind of, reiterate how good these two are at the minute. They really are setting the benchmark in this class. The last lap, they were both in the 44.9s, and no one else on track was even in the 45s. Everyone else was 46 mids or even into the 47s. So these guys really are the cream of the crop here in Stock European Championship, and it's just good to see that at least we've got a little bit of a battle on.
Yeah, it would be a shame if we had one of these two just disappear off into the distance by themselves. But thankfully, Fernandez is really chasing hard. The number 17 and fastest lap of the race that time round was Munoz in first place, only 9 thousandths of a second faster than what Fernandez did only a couple of laps ago. So we've got a real battle in hand between Fernandez, yo-yoing lap times between the two are the leaders, Munoz and Fernandez. Here's the battle for third spot, 11 laps to go, and it's Iozzo that's leading it from Archie McDonald. Now these were the two that were scrapping out for the podium position, the final podium position in Valencia, with Iozzo coming out on top on that occasion. So Archie McDonald will be really hoping to reverse that fortune this time around. Behind them, we've got Mario Mayor and Corey Tinker, who's on for his best result in the Stock European Championship. His best so far has been 7th in Estoril. He's in 6th spot at the moment, so he's chasing his best result so far.
Yeah, certainly having a good ride so far, Corey Tinker. He's looked pretty solid this weekend, as we say, qualified well. He's going to go down the inside of number 82, Mayor, now. So good move there from Corey Tinker on the brakes. He's a big frame on that R6. So certainly an easy one to spot. You see, he's all elbows and knees, isn't he? He's a bit Ben Speed style.
It really is.
Really hangs off it. Great riding style, Corey Tinker. But yeah, making progress now, all the way up into 5th place.
Yeah, just behind this group is Hoshevik on the number 6 machine. He's returning from an injury suffered in Estoril on the MMG Penemoto RS team machine. Behind them is the Mexican rider of Moreno on the number 10 and the FAL 55T Racing machine. And then Garcia in 8th. So Garcia, he's dropped all the way down to 9th spot. Don't know what's happened there. He had a moment a couple of laps ago in turn number 1, where he was in front of Iozzo, but he's dropped all the way down to 9th spot. I'm not sure if maybe the issue they had at the start of warm-up that's come to rear its ugly head once more, but he's down in 9th and not setting a very good lap. At 48 he was in last lap, so he's really dropped off the back of that. And then we've got
no, he wasn't actually 48. So you've got your wire crossed, Hodger. What are you doing?
Oh no, what have I done?
It was at 4.65. He was actually the 3rd quickest rider on the track. So
so he must have made a mistake there somewhere. So
must
thanks
have
for pointing that out. I'm definitely going to go to my local opticians when I get back and get some glasses. So yeah, he's in 9th spot ahead of Rivera, rounding at the top 10 with Hulowitz. Brown, Carter Brown, that is. So he has served, or he's to serve his double long lap penalty on the number 74 machine. We think he's probably done it by now. And Roca in 13th ahead of Ribeiro, and Bednarek, the other Brit on the CF Motorsport machine, in 15th.
Here we go, Fernandez is the closest he's been. He is almost alongside, but he's going to the outside. I think he's just not too bothered. Yeah, well, he's definitely not bothered, is he? Because he let Munoz go by him earlier on in the race when we saw them having a bit of a kerfuffle and looking over each other. So there's your championship position. Obviously, Fernandez, courtesy of, that would be live championship standings, I do believe, because Fernandez is only on 20 points at the moment.
Yeah, he's 25 points behind Daniel Munoz at the moment is Fernandez. On the last lap, you might have mentioned it, but I was looking at the timing screen, chatting away about who was further down the order, but last lap round, Fernandez did set the fastest lap of the race, just a couple of hundredths quicker than Daniel Munoz. So these two are really locked together as tight as you like, and there's nothing between them, as you could separate them with, well, a credit card basically. And Fernandez has got a great run through turn number 12. Will he look up the inside? No, he won't. He'll just keep station for now. Well, Fernandez on the number 4 FAL 55T Racing machine, behind Munoz on the SP57 Racing Team bike. All Yamahas in this class, apart from one of the riders that is
Del Olmo,
who's at the back, or near the back, unfortunately, on a Kawasaki. The Kawasaki Palmetto PL Racing machine. So it's great to see Kawasaki in the class. Unfortunately, they're just having a little bit of trouble right now finding their feet at the moment, but we're confident that will happen as the season progresses. But back at the front, 9 laps to go, and a bit of a bobble there from Fernandez coming through turns number 3 and 4. What we're having here. So it's a braking comparison on the run up the hill into turn number 1, squedging that front tire. Look at that. That's absolute brilliant poetry and absolute motion. Kicking the rear end out ever so slightly. Just looks like he's about to run on wide there.
He's quite a big frame, isn't he, Fernandez? And the way that he brakes there, he really projects his body right upright. He's it's almost a little bit kind of Colin Edwards style from a long time ago, until he starts to lean into the corner, and then he's still quite new age with the elbow down. There you go, you see. Yes, beautiful example of it.
Got some Colin Edwards to Ben Spees, basically. So 2 Texans. He's been learning his craft off of them as well. So, I mean, 2 World Superbike champions, you can't learn from anyone any better than that.
Yeah, certainly. So these two then, at the minute, they're 11.5 up the road from 3rd place Iozzo. So certainly, as we do say, these two are the cream of the crop. And actually, last time, what were they doing? They slipped back into the 45s. That's terrible.
Terrible.
Absolutely criminal of them both.
Right through for Carter Brown, who's not served his double long lap penalty. So That's unfortunate for the number 74 who knew the penalty was coming, so not sure what's happened there. Maybe he didn't see the board come out to say that he had to serve the double long lap penalty, but he's now got a ride-through penalty for ignoring the long lap penalty signal. So that's a disastrous end to the weekend for Carter Brown, who's currently sitting in 11th.
Yeah, not a good race day that for Carter Brown, unfortunately. It all started to go wrong for him yesterday. But anyway, regardless of that, you can see there that 0.2 Fernandez, we can see that on our screen, and Iozzo now 12.3 behind. But actually, Tinker's got up into 4th place, so Tinker making real good strides forward. He does have about 2.5 seconds, though, to get up to Iozzo on the circuit. But 8 laps to go, there's plenty of time to be able to do that. Last lap around, he was considerably slower than Iozzo, but that may well have been because he was battling Mayor. We'll see what he does this time around, and we'll update you on the gap.
Fernandez looking over his shoulder there to see if there's anyone in the same county as these two, and I can tell you, Fernandez, there's absolutely not. So there's no point looking behind you. You're 12.5 seconds ahead of Dino Iozzo in 3rd spot. So these two are away and gone. Last lap, as you mentioned, slipping into the 45.4s. Not sure what they're doing there. Just relatively having a chill day Sunday ride, these two at the front of the field. Saying that, Dani Munoz spinning up the rear ever so slightly there on the exit of turn number 8 as they approach the stadium section at Angel Nieto corner. But as you were saying, Corey Tinker in 4th, he's now just lost the place to Mario Mayor on the number 82 machine. But once again, Corey Tinker shown brilliantly this weekend in Jerez. On for a career best so far in 5th spot, if it stays the way it is. A couple of seconds, Dino Iozzo has gapped that group behind him. He's now 3.6 seconds ahead of that group. And the rider that I thought had a problem, Garcia, on the number 8 machine, on the Easy Race Team machine, he's found his form again. He's lapping quicker than some of the riders just ahead of him. He's in the 46s. The riders in front of him are in the 47s and 48s. So he will be challenging the top, well, all the way from 3rd all the way down to 7th in the next couple of laps. Here's Dino Iozzo. He's in the 46s. Yeah, 46.2, so he's only just a second off in terms of lap time from Munoz and Fernandez. It's a big gap, but he's come down a lot quicker. As you say, Gorst, best lap of his race of 46.1, which is just a second slower than the leaders out front.
Yeah, good progress there from Iozzo. Most of the race he's been up in kind of the mid to high 46s and even the 47s early on. So to the fact that now he's worked his way down to a 46.1 and he's already done a handful of laps.
Boy, he's well been there.
Yeah, maybe that's what's helping. But anyway, doing a very good job. Yeah, good progress with his lap time throughout the race here and nice consistencies. We look at him now down into turn 1. When we were walking the track yesterday afternoon, well, not walking it, we actually robbed a pair of scooters to go out around it. We didn't rob them, don't worry. We were kindly lent to the keys. But yeah, you don't realise in Jerez how much, there's not a massive amount of undulation here, but there are some more significant changes than what you would think. And turn 1 is one of them. There's a nice gradual upslope into there. So it's quite a tricky corner because it puts a lot of pressure on the front tyre, and it's often why you see guys go wide and a little bit deep into turn 1 while they're on the brakes there. Here is Corey Tinker in that battle with number 82 Mayor, and also Archie McDonald, the Australian, just behind them, still just lurking there and waiting to pick up the pieces of any shenanigans.
Cue the Jaws music for Archie McDonald there as Mayor looks over his shoulder and sees a couple of very hungry English speakers behind him, Corey Tinker and Archie McDonald as well. These two have just been glued on track all season long so far. You feel McDonald and Tinker as well. Great showing from both of them though. Great showing from Mayor on the number 82. This has certainly been the best ride we've seen from him thus far. So clicking off another lap, 6 laps to go that time round. It's only 1/10 of a second between Munoz and Fernandez. They've slipped back into the low 45s once again. And Dino Iozzo just behind them, 14.6 seconds behind the top 2 in this race. Half a second now between Dani Munoz and Fernandez on our timing screen, so I'm not sure if there was a bit of a moment there for Fernandez in the first sector of this lap, but yeah, we'll definitely see if the gap starts increasing over the next couple of laps. But as we come through sector number 2, the gap is now just back under half a second between your race leaders. Mario Mayor, the rider from Spain, on the number 82 Yamaha GV Stratos machine, just ahead of Easy Race Team rider Corey Tinker and MRE talent Archie McDonald. These 3 are locked in battle as Corey Tinker goes for a late move. He's going to slam it up the inside. Whoa, chopped off the front there from Mayor was Corey Tinker. But Corey Tinker is good on the brakes there as the young Brit, so he'll be definitely looking on up the inside of Mayor once again for the rest of the race. So 5.5 laps to go. We've got plenty of action, especially for 4th, 5th and 6th here. And, well, plenty of action up the front again, as, however, Munoz has just opened up that gap. Hey, there we go. Corey Tinker up there.
Good move. Oh, it's gone a little bit wide,
Archie McDonald might have a bit of a move here as well. No, just slots in behind him once more. So Corey Tinker, who went for it, clearly listening to us, decided, well, I'm not going to try and mug him at turn 6. He'll be expecting that. Let's try turn 9 instead. Runs a little bit wide, but he'll love to fight another day.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see these three on track because they've all had quite varied routes to get here. Of course, here we go, Corey Tinker looking at the inside again. He's pretty desperate to get past Mayor now, but no, not able to do it just yet. But Mayor, obviously, riding in Spain the last couple of years, doing some stuff in the ESBK 600 category for 2022 and 2021, and doing pretty well, not on the podium so much, but certainly consistent and getting really good point scores. So taking a big step up to come to European Stock Championship. And then Corey Tinker, of course, who's been doing a lot of stuff in BTC in recent years and riding 600s now over in Spain. And then Archie McDonald's Australian, who came from last year riding, I believe he was riding in the Yamaha R3 Cup. So certainly quite a change, and before that on 300. So all very, very different riders that have taken hugely different routes to get here.
Yeah, it came from the formerly known as the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup Series, did Archie McDonald. So yeah, a rider of a lot of talent is Archie McDonald, and a lot of progress will be happening throughout the entire season for the young Australian. Now, here are your leaders, 4.5 laps to go, and that gap is a bit big now. It's almost 0.6 of a second. Last lap, Danny Munoz set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:44.4. 0.4 of a second quicker than the man chasing him, Eric Fernandez. However, on this lap alone, Fernandez has pegged that gap at 0.5 of a second, matching him in every single sector. And that looks a little bit closer than 0.5 of a second coming in to Lorenzo Corner there. So yeah, that must be at least 0.3 of a second. As they come across the line now, we'll know exactly for sure because the timing monitor will not lie. 4 laps to go. Danny Munoz leads the race, 4.5 of a second, as Fernandez drops it into the 43s, a 1:43.9. That's just 0.1 of a second quicker than Danny Munoz. So these two are really starting to drop the speed now.
Well, I mean, that's 2 blistering lap times. Just to put that into perspective, the pole time from Danny Munoz yesterday was 1:44.159. Eric Fernandez, his fastest time of the weekend before this race, was 1:44.6. So he's just gone 7/10 quicker in this race. So talking about rising to the challenge, Danny Munoz, 5 laps to go. He's seen that board and he's gone, right, pull the pin. And yeah, Eric Fernandez has done the same, and he's replied back to him, and he's hanging right there with him.
Yeah, let's see if he can keep up with this young one. So yeah, Fernandez is really put the hooks into Danny Munoz just in front of him, and not letting this go at all. He's still chasing his first win of the season. Potentially could have won an SRL before, unfortunately dropping it at turn number 3 about a month ago there. But Danny Munoz is not to be deterred, as Munoz is a cool, calm and collected head on some young shoulders as the Spanish rider on the number 17 machine. He's done a lot of racing in the junior categories, JuniorGP as well. He's got a lot of experience across many classes, and the gap is coming down ever so slightly again. As we can see that, the fastest first sector of anyone for Fernandez, a 25.5. So it's almost like qualifying laps between these two at the front here. Just one's going a bit faster and the other one's trying to keep up and going even faster than that. And that gap is down even more now. That's less than 0.4 of a second. And Fernandez comes into the corner where he'd lost it in qualifying. So, but thankfully, this time around, Munoz almost out on the green there. He doesn't want to be doing that at all with the last couple of laps to go. 3 laps to go, coming across the line now. And this time they drop back into the 44s, a 44.2.
Oh, Danny's gone wide a little bit.
He has gone very wide.
It's the apex there.
Oh, we cut back to Dino Iozzo. That's great to see Dino Iozzo, but he's 21 seconds back. And we want to see what happened with Munoz and Fernandez. Did Fernandez manage to take advantage of Munoz going wide? But Munoz was 1/10 of a second slower in that lap. And Iozzo, yeah, he's well and truly in no man's land in 3rd spot at the moment.
The gap through the first split between the top 2 is less than 1/10, so it was a big mistake. Oh, look at this shenanigans going on. Archie McDonald's managed to punch his way through, but 82 Mayor is not having any of it. With Corey Tinker now.
And then Garcia's back in it as well.
Under pressure, yeah, from the number 8. Actually, number 8 Garcia is through on his teammate, so great job there from Garcia to recover after. We don't really know what happened to him. He must have made some big mistake somewhere that we didn't see. But yeah, now coming through to try and pick off the number 69 of Archie McDonald, and then as well Mayor on the 82.
Yeah, I can imagine Garcia is going to come through this group like a hot knife through butter. He's almost 0.7 of a second quicker than the riders in this group. He was in the 47s last lap. Everyone else in this group were in the 48. So there he is in the number 8 machine, shaping up a move on McDonald, who's also in turn shaping up a move on Mayor.
Like that.
And then here we go, easy as you like. Looks down at the bike. That was nice and simple for Garcia. See, away he goes. Ciao, see you later. I'll see you next week. Ciao for now. Bye-bye. Everything you can think of. Sayonara. Garcia, he's back into 4th. Unfortunately, Dino Iotto is 10 seconds up the road, so that's as far as Garcia is going to get. But the battle still will rage on between the 3 behind him, Mayor, McDonald, and Tinker. As here we go, another lap completed. 2 more laps to go. The gap is now up to 0.2 of a second. They both set exactly the same lap time. So despite Munoz running wide at this corner, 1 lap ago, he's managed to recalculate himself, re-energize himself, and he's managed to open up or keep that gap pegged at 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, Munoz then seems as though he's got this under control, even though they certainly are pushing hard at the minute, doing some really, really good lap times. The last lap was a little bit slower than what they have been doing before, but that was because of a couple of mistakes, etc. But I think the biggest thing from this is Fernandez will have learnt an unbelievable amount here. He's gone much quicker than what he has done all weekend long, and he's kept this pace going right until the end of the race. So regardless of whether he's able to get close enough to have a crack at Munoz or not, he'll be feeling a lot more confident now and a lot happier going forward through this Stock European Championship, that it's not just going to be the number 17 that has it all his own way.
Yeah, you must feel that with so many crashes, it must just wreck your confidence ever so slightly. So it's good to see Fernandez is really holding his own when it comes to Danny Munoz and really going with him as well. I mean, when Sabre's going with him, it's not all over. He's still pushing for this race win, but that's a couple of bike lengths there from Munoz back to Fernandez. If Fernandez opens up or closes up the gap in the last half the lap around here at Jerez. So the lap times are very similar. Their split times are very similar. Can Munoz hold on for a lap and a half? Further back, Iotto's got 3rd place covered, barring any issue whatsoever. Garcia, he's still got Mayor, Tinker, and McDonald on his tail. And then Hoshuik, Moreno, Rivera rounding out your top 10 for now, as the top 2 start the final lap of the final race of the day here in the Stock European Championship. Munoz across the line leads it by 2.5 of a second. Can Fernandez lay a glove on your championship leader, the person that's won the opening 2 races of the year? Bit of a bobble on exit from Munoz. He takes the defensive line. Fernandez, a little bit of a wider line into turn at number 2, bobbling on the rear as Munoz. Their tyres are screaming as you come through the double left-hander through 3 into 4. It's a couple of tenths of a second as it comes through the first split as well. Almost both onto the green, but Fernandez is setting this up brilliantly.
Yeah, so here we go then. Last half of a lap coming up. They're going to come through turn 5 now. Fernandez needs to get a really good drive here. The one saving grace that Fernandez has throughout this whole lap is that he seems to be a little bit better through that final right-hander, turn 12, which would set him up perfectly down into turn 13, Jorge Lorenzo corner. The final corner of the race here in Jerez. But I tell you what, it's just that 0.2 gap, that couple of bike lengths that Danny Munoz is able to maintain pretty much everywhere. Oh, he's gone wide though there. He has gone very wide.
What is happening is looking for Fernandez. He went wide, but is he thinking, it's like, I need to let him through because I'll have to drop the position. If he was on the
He's
green.
going for air.
Here we go, Fernandez up the inside. Munoz, can he retaliate? 4 corners to go up the inside again. Oh, chops the nose off him. Have some of that. Fernandez says to Munoz. 3 corners to go through 11 and 12. The fast right-handers. He's shaping them up. Fernandez on for his first race win of the season. And we've got Munoz who wants his 3rd. 1 more corner to go on the green. Almost Fernandez. Here comes
Munoz.
Oh, up the inside, lay on the brakes. He goes wide. Does he not? Yes, he does. On the clip. Fernandez. Oh, it almost slips off the bike on the corners. But Fernandez, he does it. Munoz and the slipstream across line photo finish. It's Fernandez from Munoz, and Munoz is dejected. Well, Fernandez is over the moon with that. So what an incredible last lap from Fernandez. That is the race we were looking for in the Stock European Championship, and Fernandez has retaliated in utterly brilliant style on Danny Munoz. The first time Danny Munoz has not won this season. And here comes Dino Iotto for his 2nd podium on the bounce in 3rd spot. He comes across the line half a minute behind the top two, who were just on a scintillating place. And who's got fourth? It's Garcia, who holds it ahead of Mayor. So Mayor picks up fifth behind Garcia. And in the background, McDonald just holds off from Cody Tinker. So Cody Tinker equals his best result of the season so far, and seventh ahead of Hostjuik. And then we're looking for Moreno and Rivera come across the line together in 9th and 10th. But Jack, that was some last lap. Not quite sure what happened there.
Well, you wouldn't have thought that. Danny Munoz looked faultless pretty much all race long. He made that one little mistake going wide at turn 1 with about 3 laps to go. But even then, we didn't think he was going to buckle it like he did there on the final lap. Cracked under the pressure, went wide and through the fast turn left where he's just coming up to now. And Danny Munoz, there's no wonder this is a rather fast cooldown lap, because he is going to be furious.
Yes, I'm wondering if Danny Munoz ran in the green on the exit of turn number 7, which would have been an automatic drop of 1 position if he didn't give the position back. So maybe that's why he tried to let Fernandez back through and hoping that he would retake the lead on the final corner. But yes, Danny Munoz not very pleased with that outcome of that race whatsoever, and it's an outcome that was possibly in the making of his own doing. Dino Iozzo, second podium on the bounce. Congratulations, very good ride for the young Italian, the 22-year-old from Italy on the number 13 machine, the IUM Motorsports machine, half a minute back from the leader. So the gap isn't great, but another podium. You can always be happy with that. But Fernandez, wow, he put the pressure on Danny Munoz. He made Danny Munoz, or pushed Danny Munoz into a big mistake on the final lap. And, well, once you keep the pressure on someone for long enough, they will eventually boil over. And that's what happened here. Fernandez gets congratulations from his team. The number 4 on the FIM 55T racing bike pulls in the park for me, but does a Jack Miller and top rack Razgatioglu style stoppy before he gets there as well. And his team are there to greet him. And what a ride, what a result for Eric Fernandez. 200th of a second, he held it over Danny Munoz. Dino Iozzo running out the podium. And that's his first win of the season, a win that we did expect potentially to come in Estoril before he unfortunately lost the front into turn number 3 when he was just running ahead of Danny Munoz. It's a shame that he crashed out of that opening round of the season, because this championship would be a very mouth-watering prospect if that hadn't been the case, with Danny Munoz leading it comfortably over Fernandez at the moment. In the background there is Danny Munoz, who's congratulated by his team. But he'll be asking some questions of himself, what happened on that last lap. And, well, he came out second best today, but he's still the favourite for the championship throughout the entire season. He is the one to beat. He's been the fastest on Saturday for the first 3 rounds of the season. And Danny Munoz is the one to beat, but he knows he's got a fight in his hand with race winner here today, Eric Fernandez. Big hugs all round for Dino Iozzo. Great result for him. He came under a bit of pressure in the opening few laps for that podium position, but from about lap 5 onwards, he clicked into another gear and darted off from the chasing pack, eventually coming across the line 6 seconds ahead of Garcia, but we know he rolled off for the last few laps just to make sure that he got it home. But no denying who your race winner was here today in the stock European Championship, Eric Fernandez. And this is what happened. This is the move, the final lap. But before that, it was Munoz who had a look over his shoulder and put Fernandez in position to have a look up the inside into the first of the 2 right-handers at Angel Nieto. Munoz retaliated late on the brakes into Lorenzo corner. We've seen lots of races decided into this corner, but runs a little bit wide. Fernandez stuffs it back up the inside on corner exit. Has a little bit of a moment on exit, but it wasn't enough to give Munoz a glimmer of hope as he came across the line to record what was an outstanding first victory in the championship. Munoz there, very unhappy, absolutely distraught with how that played out in the very last moments of the race. And yeah, they've been waiting a little bit of a while, haven't they? The FIM 55 Tay Racing team. So yeah, they've been expecting it for a while, but they've been waiting a little bit of a while, and it's finally come for Eric Fernandez. We'll be hearing how his race went, how it went, what happened on the last lap. We'll be getting all the gossip and obviously all the emotions from Eric Fernandez in a few moments when he speaks to Jack Gorst down in Park Fermi. Maybe Danny Munoz is so upset with how his race went because he was the one who was wanting to speak to our very own Gorst down there. But unfortunately today it's going to be Eric Fernandez who'll be speaking to Jack in Parc Fermé in a few moments. So run through the rest of the top 10 was after Munoz. It was Iotto, Garcia, Mayor, McDonald, Tinker, Hostjewijk, Moreno and Rivera. Just outside the top 10 was Roca, Ribeiro, Rodriguez, Gomez and Del Olmo. And there is your race winner from today, Eric Fernandez, speaking to Jack Gorst.
Yeah, and we're here with Eric. Congratulations, Eric, your first race win in Stock European Championship. Just talk us through that last lap because it looked like a great battle.
I'm so happy in the race. Thank you and the team and the sponsors and the mother and the people.
And in Spanish, please.
Estoy muy contento por la carrera. Creo que nos hacía falta. Hemos trabajado muy duro. Dani lo ha hecho muy bien, pero esta carrera pues me la he llevado yo. Y quiero agradecer a todo el equipo por todo lo que hacen por nosotros, porque sin ellos nada hubiera sido posible. Y sobre todo a Josete, porque sin él nada de esto hubiera sido posible.
Congratulations, Eric. Well done.
Well, he says he was very happy, and he was very happy indeed with that result there, was Eric Fernandez, and that's just how he did it. The Stock European Championship race and Jerez got underway with Danny Munoz taking the whole shot, but Fernandez was all over the back of him on lap number 1, gapping the rest of the field as you knew that they would, before he eventually took the lead, but relinquished it at turn number 9. Both riders looking across each other saying, after you, sir, they didn't want to lead the opening few stages of this race. So it was Eric Fernandez that was in the lead of the race, ahead of Munoz, but further back we had Corey Tinker, Archie, McDonald fighting out for the fringes of the top 5 before Danny Munoz slotted back into the head of the field, but Tinker, McDonald and Mayor were battling it out for 4th position. Garcia would be an early challenger for the podium position on the number 8 machine before he had a moment later on in the race. This going a little bit wide, but then another moment, a big slip off there almost. He'd eventually slip back even further before having to charge back through the pack, and that left Dino Iotto high and dry, clear to challenge for his second podium on the bounce. The number 44 machine, he went down, that was Rodriguez. He eventually remounted to finish in 13th, as did Del Olmo as well. Nistola went down, Mian went down as we just saw there, and Hilovic, he also didn't finish the race as well. Corey Tinker, Mayor and McDonald battling out for 4th spot before they were eventually joined later in the race by Garcia, who would eventually mug them in the final few laps to retake 4th position. Dino Iotto, he was 10 seconds up the road from that battling group for 4th and 3rd spot, and then there goes the number 85 of Hilovic. He crashed out at the fast left hand, but on the final lap, this was this move from Fernandez. As we look at the team, very happy with that, but Munoz retaliated, ran a little bit deep into Lorenzo Corda, stuffing it back up the inside was Fernandez to record what was an incredible first victory in the Stock European Championship for the number 4 ahead of his championship rival Danny Munoz. Big wheelies for Fernandez as he pulls into Parc Fermé to celebrate with his team. So Fernandez is a race winner once more.
Fantastic job then from the Stock European Championship podium finishers, and we'll bring them out. The very happy representative from the FAL 55 Tay Racing team. Of course, a little bit of an unexpected victory, you'd say, because it looked like Danny Munoz had it all sewn up there, but not in the end.
Yeah, very dejected looking Danny Munoz coming onto the podium there. I mean, he'll shake this off eventually, knowing that there'll be another day for this. And well, he was pushed all the way, put under pressure by your race winner, Eric Fernandez, pushed into a potential mistake. And here is the director of the Circuito de Jerez, Angel Nieto, handing over the team representative, probably the happiest person in the paddock right now. Look at that, great celebrations from the FAL 55 Tay Racing team member. He also hands over the trophy for 3rd spot, Dino Iotto. He'll add that to the trophy cabinet. That's 2 on the bounce, 2 3rd places. But here we go. Vice President of the FIM Europe hands over 2nd place trophy for the first time in 2023 to Danny Munoz. He'll be back to fight another day and to regain that top prize, which today is going the way of Eric Fernandez. Not a bigger smile in the paddock you will see from anyone. Eric Fernandez is the race winner here today for Stock European Championship.
Eric Fernández, escuchamos el himno nacional de España. Fuerte el aplauso para los integrantes.
Spanish national anthem rings out across the Circuito de Jerez. Ángel Nieto for Eric Fernandez. The final time today that we'll be celebrating a winner on the top step of the podium. 6 races down, 6 incredible races. And if you've just joined us for the end of it, where have you been? Make sure you go back and onto the Finetwork FIM JuniorGP World Championship YouTube channel, or anywhere else if you've recorded the action here today, because you've missed a day's action of incredible racing. And well, that's me and myself, Jack Goss, we're going to be heading home tonight discussing a lot of what happened here today, because it was absolutely incredible.
We'll have to mull it over a nice meal in the airport, probably.
Most likely, yeah, we're getting something from the airport.
A quick cerveza, and that'll do us. Yeah, but no, it's some fantastic racing here, as always, in the Junior GP Championship. Honestly, this place really is the place where the stars of the future are born and made.
Yes, and one of those stars for the 600 class in the Stock European Championship will be Eric Fernandez, who takes his first win of the season ahead of Championship leader Danny Munoz, Dino Iotto, and third about half a minute further back. Marco Garcia, a great performance to recover for whatever happened to him back in the fourth ahead of Mario Mayor. Archie McDonald, Corey Tinker equals his best result of the season ahead of Hostweek, the Romanian rider, and the Moreno in 9th spot. Rivera in 10th for Colombia ahead of Maximilio Roca, and then Ribeiro, Adrian Rodriguez, who came from an off earlier on in the race ahead of Arieta, the Argentinian rider, and Javier Del Olmo rounds out your podium position, your points finishers. You just saw there Bednarek and Carter Brown, the 2 CF Motorsport riders, just missed out on a couple of points there.
So then in the championship picture, it's business as usual for Danny Munoz, but he will know he has a challenge on his hand now. As flying up to second is Eric Fernandez, 25 points behind, with Marco Garcia in third, Archie McDonald, the Australian, still there in fourth, going well. And Dino Iotto, thanks to his 2 third places, up onto 32 points. Mayor, Mian, Rodriguez, and Tinker, who steadily added into his total, is in 9th there. Moreno with 20 points in 10th place from Roca. Nestola, Hoshuk, Ribeiro, Rivera, Florov, and Dan Brooks down there in 17th with 5 points. And completing the point scorers that we do have in the European Stock Championship so far is Jack Bednarek on 4, Javier Del Olmo, the only Kawasaki out there, also Arieta, and that's your lot. So that's pretty much going to be it from us here. It's been a fantastic day of racing. I think you'd agree, Liam. Oh,
incredible day's action. It's been 6 brilliant races, lots and lots of action throughout, lots of surprises as well. And we get to do it all again in 1 month's time when the Finetwork FIM JuniorGP World Championship makes its way to the Algarve International Circuit in Portimao for round number 4 of JuniorGP.
Ciao for now.